All right, y'all. So there has been a lot, and I mean a lot of discussion today about the LR Vegeta and Trunks, which is perfectly understandable. They just released about a day ago, and there's a lot of mixed thoughts and opinions about these characters, or I guess this character. It is two in one, but you guys get what I mean. So we're gonna be talking about it here in today's video. There is a couple of I guess recording bits I want to bring up from my video that I recorded here, and then I actually got this little recording here as well. But there's also the idea that people are thinking Vegeta and Trunks are bugged. So again, really a lot to touch on. But again, the main thing about this character that I think a lot of people have seemingly been disappointed in is the fact that they don't really change their free soul essence of being a slot 1 only character. In slot 2 or slot 3, they do lose 100% or 200% attack and defense and 30% damage reduction, which is quite a lot. And the thing that people don't really like about, this character, even when they originally came out, is the fact that they are very susceptible to potential locking, right? Along with that, short events are pretty much the hardest fights out right now. This character can work in short events, but it's situational, especially because a lot of them, again, do lock and they could potentially not be in their first attacker slot. But on top of that, they have this ability, the 5% attack and defense stacking, which, again, as a stacking character, they're really good for something like festival or very long fights. And right now, we don't have the hardest kind of fights being long, right? Again, we did have the Jiren fights from the anniversary, but at this point, I feel it's very easy to say they're outclassed in power by the special battle right here. I think these three fights specifically, like the Omega, Gogeta, and the Goku Black Zamasu fights, are all harder than the Jiren fights. This one also can be pretty difficult, but I'm not sure. I would say probably fits the same boat. But this Blue Goku Vegeta fight kind of doesn't really get talked about because it doesn't have this guy has double supering, hits very, very hard with these double supers. This Omega has locking and AoEs. Goku Black has locking and AoEs, right? And these guys don't really have toxic mechanics like that. Like Blue Vegeta was always going to super slot 1 and will always stun you, but I feel like it's not really as difficult as the rest of these other fights, but it's still a pretty tough fight. But again, we did get the Shadow Dragons event here, stage 9, the boss rush, and it is decently difficult, but it's not thing too crazy. I feel like the HP in these bosses are extremely low, like pretty much nothing. I mean, even 270 mil, it's like you basically, with these phases, you beat them in at least 1 to 2 phases. Probably not 1, but I think 2 phases is pretty common to beat those phases, especially when we consider, again, if we take a look at the HP for these bosses, man, obviously they're a lot higher because they're more than 1 phase, but considering that they're strong right away, whilst these characters, you have multiple turns to build up to them. 6.6 mil is a hard-hitting super, but this is what you get this guy in turn 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is turn 7 minimum, right? And then this Omega is hitting for 7 mil, but it's a turn 9 boss. I truly think that this event doesn't really have any issues, and especially because, again, they don't really, most of them don't hit hard at all. 1 mil normals, basically 3 mil super maybe at best. It's just not hitting that hard, really. I think Omega could do damage to certain characters because of this defense lower. And, this guy as well. It's just, I feel like, especially if you're running stacking characters in here, this defense lower doesn't really matter. It's pretty negligible if you're running defensive stacking characters. So, yeah, I'm very unfortunate with these two guys specifically, man. I truly hope that we do get a longer, difficult fight that's actually difficult, because we do know that there is this event. Where is it at? This one comes out on the 4th or the 5th, the 4th, right? Basically the 4th, 5th, depending on your time zone. This is a longer fight. There's 4 phases. I assume that this is going to be a difficult long fight, but Who knows? We can't really say for sure. So fingers crossed, because I think that's what kind of hurts this guy a little. Also, most people don't like festivals, so that is kind of where the Vegeta Trunks, I think, not necessarily slander, but dislike for a lot of people come from. But we're gonna go ahead and read some of the replies here, and we're also gonna address this, right? I think, well, maybe firstly, it is more important to address this. A lot of people are saying Vegeta and Trunks are bugs. It is not the case, right? Obviously, Low Tide actually did also respond here. The bug is that 5% stacking is so bad, people can't tell it's active. Why can't I feel the 5% attack stack in my 705% super multiplier? So if you guys don't understand, which I think a lot of people don't understand, this attack raise of 5% is not something added to, like, let's say, basic effects here. Like, it's not like, oh, after they super, they're at 205% attacking defense here. That's not the case. It is a 5% attack raise in their super attack modifier, which is basically equal to this. So whatever 20% stack that they have is actually a 25% stack for them. But the reason why a lot of people aren't feeling this is because they're probably using this guy with stacking characters, such as the Year 7 Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, such as LR AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? Like, let's just, I guess we'll bring up, what's it called? I think these two guys will be really, really good comparisons, right? So, Super Saiyan 4 AGL Goku, he does also stack attack and defense, raise attack and defense permanently, raise attack and defense permanently. Same with these guys, right? They also greatly raise attack and defense permanently. So, the thing is, that's added to this, that 5%. So, again, in fact, I'll literally bring up a calculator just so you guys could see what I'm talking about. But let's say you get, I don't know, let's say you get 70 supers with this guy or something like that, right? In festival, so 70 times 50, that's right here, like 3,500, right? Then let's say you would add this onto it. So the 5%, let's say Vegeta Trunks gets, I don't know, 40 super attacks, or maybe like 32 super attacks. It's something random, right? You add this onto this, it's a very negligible increase. 160%. Obviously, it's like not zero, but it's a very negligible increase. It is less than, like, I mean, like, let's say it's less than a 10% increase. Very small, very, very small increase. I mean, less than 5% even potentially, right? We divide it by, what would it be? 25, I guess, I assume. I mean, yeah, it's a very small increase about that. So that's the kind of issue that people have with the stacking, is that they don't really notice the difference, right? So, and I mean, it is what it's like. Again, we do, let's say they get 35 super attacks throughout the course of a fight. That's 175. That is basically the equivalent of LRAGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku getting 4 extra stacks. Which, I mean, he could do that in a single turn. Almost in a single turn, basically. That's 60% if you get a triple super in this turn. Like, in 2 turns, this guy can get that amount. So that's where it's not really, like, a big kind of deal for these stacking characters. But then, let's say it's a character such as the, I don't know, like, oh, you know, I know a perfect character. The Goku and Frieza character, right? Let's say, because obviously Goku's not a stacking character. So instead, well, Goku does stack attack, right? But Goku doesn't stack defense. So that 5% defense raise is going to be added to this. So let's say, okay, Goku has, I should have kept a calculator. Goku has this 30% defensive stacking, right? Just, or 30% defense raise once, right? But then Vegeta and Trunks get, again, like 32 stacks. That 30% becomes a 190%, and you see a massive difference, right? Because he doesn't actually usually stack. So realistically, Vegeta and Trunks would be giving this guy an extra 160% defense multiplicative, right? And even in characters in general, you'll see the defense stacking like matter a lot differently. But let's also say maybe this guy doesn't really stack as much attack. Let's say he gets like what, 32 supers as well, so 50 times 35, right? And then 5 times, let's say this guy also gets 35 supers. It is a slightly better difference because it's not as like big of a jump, but you guys kind of get the point where the attack raising is not crazy for characters who are already stacking attack, especially. I think what it really could help is like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, because we see Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, he gets the 100% raise, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. Let's just take a look here at this guy, right? It is a, no, it is actually a 50% raise with a great chance of 100% from one turn. So let's say he gets basically 200% in a best case scenario. We saw that 160% is added to that. So considering that this guy doesn't have that much of a super attack effect raise in the first place, well, it is a good amount, but considering it's not a stacking, getting an extra, let's say 150% even added to that will make a pretty good difference. So again, that's the whole kind of shenanigans with this stacking, and that's why people don't see it. People are saying it's bugged, but they don't actually see it. A lot of people are saying they're bugged in global, but Proton did actually check for me. We asked like, hey, can you check if the, or actually Annie asked technically, hey Proton, can you check if the super attack effect is the same on JP and global? Because on JP we know it is actually correct from testing, but a lot of people are in global are saying that it's not. It is right. It is exactly the same in both versions as Proton did check, so they are not bugged. They are perfectly fine in terms of the attack and defense stacking. It is just not nearly as much as people think it is. So that's me kind of explaining their Dokkan math. Again, a lot of people don't understand how it works. I'm still putting together an idea about a Dokkan math class. I actually DM'd Albert about it. He's down, so we'll see. Dokkan math, there's so much that goes into it. You need multiple people on a project like that just to make sure everything is on the same track and recover every scenario, because there's so many things that you could forget about that is just weird. And don't even, like, I saw people talking about like the actual damage taken. Like I didn't even like understand damage taken and how it works, like how bosses actually receive damage. It's just a bit silly. But anyways, let's go ahead and read some of these replies here, and let's see what people are saying. Feels like their 18 key support was a test run to see how much of an impact it will change for other units and the player base. We could be seeing much more designs like this, but with a higher percentage rate. Like, I could see that, right? And I also want to say, I do think Vegeta and Trunks, by the way, they're a pretty good character. I feel like I see people acting like they suck, and then I see people acting like they're, like, top 3. I think it's neither. I haven't decided where I would rank them just yet. Again, I haven't even done like my top part 2 LR tier list. I need to, I mean, I probably will do it by tomorrow. I'm gonna try and stream on Twitch today actually, and use a bunch of these characters in other kind of scenarios and get a good idea of where I like them in my minds again. But I am thinking these guys will be at the very least, maybe, okay, I want to say at the very least, I think at best they're like 8 to 10 range, but I'm not gonna put them over the year 7 LRs. I'm not gonna put them over, honestly, any of the global Dokkan campaign LRs. I don't think I'm putting them over either. Like, I would say I like Rose better than this character as an example, right? And right now I'm thinking Rose is probably the quote-unquote worst between the 4 global Dokkan campaign LRs, which he's still very good, but like he's not like, I feel like I like the others better, for example, right? So like they would be 4 LRs ranked above him. Probably, I would say Tech Vegito might be better. Again, I feel like Tech Vegito's better. We'll see, we'll see. I need to really sit down and think about it. I liked this guy's performance in shorter content. Even getting locked in Goku Black and Zamasu, I found that this character doesn't really struggle too much. Unless they get hit by a super, they're actually able to eat normals pretty well, so that's a good thing. Dokkan Twitter crying about nothing as usual. They accomplished exactly what their EZA is intended for. Yeah, I also agree. I mean, again, their EZA is intended realistically for festival and like longer content, and just right now we don't have other longer content besides festival. That's truly difficult. But I understand a lot of people don't like festival, so a lot of people don't really use this character outside of shorter events, and they're like, this guy's not actually that good, you know? Again, especially with shorter events being locking. But that's not what this guy's meant for, and even then, they can still be pretty decent in the shorter events. I feel like the only time I've struggled with them is like a situation like this, where, okay, I put them in slot 3 here. No, actually, I don't think it was on purpose. Technically, I think they weren't even locked here. Oh, no, they were. Okay. Like, I put them here in slot 3, right? The AoE take from Goku Black in this situation without any support or anything like that is 96k, which is honestly, considering they're not, again, not in slot 1, they're missing 200% attack and defense. That's pretty decent. Then right here, they did get, I don't know if they got both of the supers here. They did. Did they get hidden potential? They did not. But Rose instantly supers them, hits them for what, 1.5 or 1.2, which is of course an instant death. But then we have another situation here, if I could find it, where they actually do live being in slot 3, because slot 3 is only normal attacks, right? They did have the raise here. Funny enough, I wanted to see what they would do against Goku Black's super attack here, but unfortunately that did not happen. They didn't even get like all their supers off. Now we did have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta support, for example, here, and we also did have the like blue Goku and Vegeta like attack raise or defense raise 60% for the turn. They take that number for double digits, which I mean, like, I'm not expecting them to live supers here, but also if you build them with full dodge, which is my recommendation, you could still live very easily. This actually had me upset because I wanted to see what they would take there, but I recommend a full dodge build for them. They don't need additional, they don't stack other additionals anyways. They also don't need what's the word? I forgot the word. They also don't need, dang it, I forgot what I was gonna say. Like crit's not really important for them. They're not like a damage dealing character. So yeah, I mean, and again, we see them in slot 1 here in this situation where I believe they do just live the super attack here. I don't recall if they super, I think Goku Black supers them after they attack here, but we could see they do take double digits, right? They also weren't even fully built up yet, so I mean, they do their job pretty well if they're in slot 1 in these short fights. Like, if they do get in slot 1, even in Goku Black as a monster, they are safe 9 out of 10 times. I could see, like, let's say if they're turn 3, like, if they're in slot 7, turn 3, Goku Black received a few attacks, and he instantly supers them, they're most likely dead. But that is a very niche scenario that is just more so bad RNG, I would say, than anything, right? Once a deer, always a deer, pretty much useless. Again, I just don't agree with that. Them only having 50% crit is moronic. They hit like a full noodle. I mean, yeah, they didn't do a lot of damage, I would say. 50% crit chance only. I mean, again, I don't really look at this guy like a damage dealing character. And again, we also got to keep in mind, they provide this 30% defense, which is pretty good. If you get the active skill, which I haven't really used them with the active skill turn. I mean, full Future Saga is definitely nothing crazy right now, but you could theoretically get it with these two as leaders, and then this Vegeta Trunks for running physical VB. But like, I don't know, like, I really don't like mixing the super class and extreme class characters like that, especially just because like Rose, like, he gets a rotation with like Blue Goku, and then I don't know, maybe running like Tech Vegeta on the team. It's, this guy will struggle a lot because no big bad bosses, no like Nightmare, I believe is a attack link he has, right? Like Nightmare, big bad bosses, even this with feature doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, I guess still Kamehameha off your special legendary power, it's like decent, but big bad bosses is a huge defensive link for this guy, right? So that's the issue there with kind of mixing and matching those characters. We can probably close this at this point. But yeah, I'm not really viewing them as a damage to character. They're definitely like just a slot 1 tank, right? Very good EZA, strong defense with good utility is a good combo. Metas against them, but they manage to clear all content with ease whilst also providing something each run. Damage is lacking, especially on the active skill. We would elect more, but whatever. I mean, I think that I kind of don't even care that about this that much. Like, I think this is nice. It does enable characters in Festival, which is cool. Maybe if they greatly stacked attack on the 12 key, it would make additionals matter. Because it kind of feels like the additionals are nice for shorter events, but like if they stacked attack here, I think that would be super helpful for them. Just because like damage could always be as useful, especially in Festival. And I would have liked maybe this to hit a little harder. Like, I'm not really impressed by their damage numbers, so I could definitely agree like stacking attack greatly in the 12 key would have helped quite a lot. That attack stacking could be pretty huge. Extremely powerful. We had units live powerful supers they otherwise would have died from if it wasn't for them. Yeah, because again, this 30% defensive support to Bond and Parent and Child it's huge. I think that's the one thing I don't see people talking about. That's the wrong category. People don't talk about this character, that 30% defense support. Because unlike the super attack effect one, this is like a phase 2 part of the passive. So like, I'm trying to think of a character. Let's bring up a character here. I mean, literally the blues, these guys don't get defense on their 18 key super. They get 30% defense here, right? But let's say this 180% defense when you're receiving an attack, that goes up to essentially 210% because of this 30% support, right? And it does matter, especially when we also consider if they use their active skill on that turn. That's a separate 20% defense raise that is in a separate phase essentially because it's an active skill, right? So that could make their numbers go really high essentially. So that's really good. And that's also considering like these guys being in slot 1, which I would put these guys slot 1 more often than not. It could help this blue Vegeta, or I said blue Vegeta, like this is Legends. This AGL Vegeta could help him out, I think, in shorter fights as well. So it's pretty good. And, you know, if we also consider, like, even these guys in longer fights, these guys don't have any phase 2 defense. So this, because they don't get anything when attacking, they don't get anything when receiving an attack, they just have 200% attacking defense, then 77% attacking defense per key sphere obtained. Like, this is all phase 1, quote unquote, because they have these 50% stacks. So if these guys are at like what, 13 million defense pre-super, this character's 30% defense support directly infects that, right? Same with the LR gods. So instead of being like a 30% defensive stack added to all their defense stacks, like obviously by the end they can get like 1700% defense stacks or something like that, right? Which we showed earlier, they can get like 1700 attack and defense kind of raises. Like, again, what did I do, like 35 supers? Like, yeah, 1750 with 35 supers, and they can get a lot more supers than that. But instead, let's say they're at 13 million defense or something, which I've seen happen before, like 13 mil defense or so, could get a lot higher. This would be just a pure 30% stack. So that alone brings them up to 1.7 mil defense. So that's where I think this, especially in longer fights with the year 7s, works incredibly well. And if we also consider the gods are the same thing. So I think, you know, with the year 7s, it's a little special because a lot of other characters do actually have the quote unquote phase 2 defense, such as the year 10s. Both will have that, right? The Goku gets 200% defense, or both Goku and Vegeta get 200% defense when receiving an attack, like we see Vegeta here. When receiving an attack, actually, Vegeta doesn't have that either, huh? It's only Goku. So this Vegeta benefits too. Technically, you will be running this Vegeta in slot 1, though. But if you have him in slot 2 or anything like that, for whatever reason, like you decide to run him in slot 2, it does actually affect him directly. I believe Goku, though, does get stats when attacking, doesn't he? He also doesn't. Wow, okay. Really stupid. He only gets... Okay, so, like, if this Goku has a ton of defense stacked up, this guy also directly supports this Goku in terms of defense. This Vegeta does get 100% defense when attacking, but it's still 30% added to that, so... I mean, you guys kind of see the point where... why this is super good for Festival with a lot of these different characters. So, that's that, right, for Bonaparte and Child specifically. Support is an overhyped mechanic. It being 5% too small to be impactful. It's nice, but it has to be something like 15%. Most units get over 100% on supers. Adding 5% 3 times doesn't move the needle much. I would say it's useful for characters who, like, let's say characters who only stack attack but don't stack defense, or characters who stack defense but don't stack attack. I think that's what it helps those type of characters on. In fact, I wonder, you know what I'm thinking about? Like the Goku Gohan, because this character stacks attack, right? Greatly stacks attack, but doesn't have any defense raise. So, like, imagine Vegeta and Trunks with this character, because they could stack attack, but now with the defensive stacking, and then Gohan, by the end of the fight, like, he'll be able to be built up, like just receiving 5 attacks with the guard, have the permanent guard. Like, you could even transform this guy like the phase before the Super Saiyan physical Goku, or even before, like, before the Daima phase. And if he doesn't get hit by Glorio, like, he could, or he doesn't get hit by Daima Goku, he can build up with Glorio. But again, like, you could transform what against the Insbu phase maybe, and then if you don't get all the hits in, you have the Super Saiyan Goku physical phase too. And he has a great chance to nullify Keyblast. Actually, I might try this guy out. I'm thinking about that. This guy in Festival might be usable now on, because is he on Battle of Fate? I think he's not on Battle of Fate. That's so unfortunate. Because the Vegeta Trunks extra buff is Battle of Fate. What team is this guy even on potentially? I guess he should fit this team now, because Earthbred Fighters. I could have just checked him. Yeah, so we could put him on the Tech Vegito team with Vegeta Trunks here, because unfortunately, this guy's not on Battle of Fate. I mean, they should be in Battle of Fate, man. It is Gohan with the final fight there. That does suck. That sucks. But maybe that Vegeta Trunks like stacking could potentially make this guy interesting here. We'll see. I might try it out, you know. But yeah. The deer, again, it's funny. It's a bit silly. The whole deer meme for Vegeta Trunks from a while ago when they originally came out. Good easy A. They're pretty much this meta. AGL full power freezable, way less damage. You think they don't feel close to how good of a tank they were on release? Kind of makes them feel more of a mixed easy. Yeah, I think they're a pretty good tank for all things considered in short content. Like, they are pretty good, and considering that they're good for, like, they're meant for long content, they, like, if they're in slot 1, they don't die 9 out of 10 times, which is what I'm looking for with the tank. And they'll still take very little damage. So, I mean, yeah, I in reality, yeah, like, I kind of agree with this. I think this is where I'm gonna kind of end things off. Like, people thought they were top 5, but in reality, like around 8th or somewhere around there. They're not like super great, but I mean, hey, even being like top 10 in the game is extremely good regardless. I think they do what they want to do very well. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section below on things here. Appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.